This day-long celebration continues on MLB Network with this special edition of MLB Tonight, Spring Training Storylines. For the next couple of hours, Tom Verducci and I are going to go camp by camp by camp as pitchers and catchers officially report. And they're throwing a baseball around, people. It's Greg Amsing with my guy, Tom Verducci, live in Studio 3. This is going to be so much fun. We're going to be dipping into camps in Arizona and in Florida. Interviews with so many players coming your way. And for the first time in MLB Network history, we decided to circle this date on the calendar, Tom. How come we didn't do this sooner?
It should be a holiday.
I agree.
Greg, we made it through the winter for those three magic words. Pitchers and catchers. Here we are. Love it.
Here we are. And the first image you saw was Shohei Ohtani because it's pitchers and catchers. Pitchers have to show up. Tom Verducci, this Shohei Ohtani guy's got to pitch this year.
Let's not forget how great of a pitcher Shohei is. I mean, we saw the 50-50 last year. We know he's a great hitter, but he's a dominant starting pitcher. By the way, the Dodgers, they have a bunch of those dominant starting pitchers.
Should we start there, by the way? Should we go to Arizona and focus in on the team that I believe, and you might disagree, Tom, they won the offseason, the Los Angeles Dodgers. They signed everybody. Matter of fact, Tom and I might be signed by the Dodgers by the end of the show. Yamamoto's on the bump. We're expecting a fully healthy season from him. The news just the other day, Clayton Kershaw agreeing to terms with the squad. Sasaki to bring him into the mix. Roki Sasaki slated as the number 3 starter right now. This is just an incredible wealth of riches, Tom, to have this much money invested in a team that just won the World Series.
Yeah, it's amazing. The talent in that camp. I have to go back to the 99 Yankees to think of a team, to me, that's this clearly in front of every other team in baseball. We still have a lot of parity in the game. A lot of people still have hope and prayers of getting to the World Series, but this is the team to beat, no question about it. Start with the starting pitching because they can beat you with so many guys with number one stuff. The lineup we know is incredibly deep. What really stands out to me, Greg, look at that top with Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman. These guys are not satisfied with winning the World Series this year. I don't detect any of that from this group. They are still hungry, still professional. They still grind at you besides being super talented. But that starting rotation is unlike anything I can remember in recent years. Dave Roberts just has so many options. And again, we're talking about guys who are legitimate number ones, 4 or 5 of those guys who could easily start game 1 of a playoff series.
The news coming out of this camp, well, you see all these amazing pitching options. Evan Phillips, who for a time was the closer of the Dodgers, Michael Kopech, who they acquired from the White Sox, looked tremendous. They're behind schedule, according to Bob Nightingale. Therefore, they're likely to start the year on the injured list. That's not a big deal to the Dodgers. Those 2 arms, if they were going to start the year a bit late, due to maybe, not being completely healthy, that would be headline panic, possibly, for most organizations. But when you show us the wealth of depth that the Dodgers have on the mound, we could see injuries come for them numerous times throughout the year, but they'll still be the heavy favorite to win that division.
No doubt. Tanner Scott, to me, best stuff to be the closer there, I think. But Kirby Yates, great season last year, could easily close. Kopech, when he's healthy with his fastball, Phillips has done it. So many options for Dave Roberts. Think about this. Last year, the Dodgers won the World Series. They used 60 players. You need to build in redundancy in the course of a long season. They've got more of that than anybody.
I mean, Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin, we forgot those guys were still in the organization. We're hoping to chat with Blake Snell as we go forward here on our spring training storyline. So the Dodgers won the offseason. Who finished second in the offseason in the National League, you think?
It's got to be the New York Mets.
Okay, good.
It has to be.
Good. And as much as we love Edwin Diaz, it's not because of Edwin Diaz. They already had him. It's because of the $765 million deal they gave to Juan Soto. Now, they also had some interesting moves. Frankie Montas in the rotation. Blake Holmes, who's been a reliever for the past few years. Sean Manaea, they bring him back. Pete Alonso's still in a Mets uniform. Would you agree that this New York Mets team is ready to take down the powerful Phillies and Braves in the NL East?
I'm not ready to say that quite yet, but they certainly have a puncher's chance. They may go out and get another pitcher before we, even get to opening day. We'll talk about that later, but it all starts with Juan Soto, right? You add a guy to me, he's the surest thing in baseball. He's the best investment because the return on investment is predictable. In his worst season, he's like a 140 OPS plus guy. Just so reliable because he controls the strike zone so well. Have him bat behind Francisco Lindor, who just transformed when he hit leadoff last year. Now Pete Alonso back behind him. Love the top of that lineup. But you brought up a couple of interesting names. Frankie Montas, who threw the ball great at the end of last year.
He did.
And then Holmes, who could be this year's Seth Lugo. Can we go there?
I like that.
Yeah, the transition now into the rotation. Really wanted, has the stuff to do it. He could be a breakout guy for the Mets.
Juan Soto was the marquee free agent signing of the offseason. The biggest trade in the National League, that went to the Chicago Cubs. Kyle Tucker was playing like an MVP candidate when he was sent over to the north side of Chicago from the Houston Astros. Another year of Imanaga, who was 15-3, an amazing first year in the big leagues. Healthy Justin Steele, better back into the bullpen, acquiring Ryan Presley. Where do you sit on the way you view the Chicago Cubs?
Yeah, it's Kyle Tucker changes the whole dynamic for me because I liked the Cubs team last year. Athleticism, defense, put the ball in play, ground ball pitching staff, but they lacked that, Dan O'Dowd likes to call it, aircraft carrier, right? They got one in Kyle Tucker.
They did.
He is a force at the plate. And how about the defensive outfield the Cubs have now? Ian Happ in left, Pete Crow Armstrong in center, Kyle Tucker in right. I'm sorry, that's as good as there is defensively in Major League Baseball.
I agree with you. It'll be interesting to see, because this is the last year of Jed Hoyer's contract, if this is a team that's going to really press the gas pedal. And if they need to get moves in the season, acquire even more talent to try to get over the hump in the NL Central. The Arizona Diamondbacks, the starting rotation was already solid before. You go sign Corbin Burns, and Burns with Gallen, Kelly, you got Montgomery as your 5-starter with Brandon Pfaadt slotted in as your number 4 starter. The Arizona Diamondbacks in a bandbox like Chase Field. You got to like the talent they have on the mound.
Love it. Now, listen, they did not pitch well last year. They scored the most runs of any team in baseball. Offense, no problem. But now you look at that rotation, and the depth of it really stands out to me. Burns is, as Juan Soto is offensively, Burns is to me on the mound. Last 4 years, who's been more durable and reliable than Corbin Burns? Zach Gallen. Don't sleep on Brandon Pfaadt, too. I think this is a breakout year coming up. He threw 180 innings last year, high strikeout rate. I think he's going to prosper now, slotting, 3 or 4 in that rotation there. Diamondbacks, I'm not saying they're the LA Dodgers, but they're in the picture, definitely, for the playoffs.
They might miss Christian Walker, because I know it's take away just the great Gold Glove at first base and the power in the middle of the plate. They got Josh Naylor, who I think can do all that stuff. He really was a respected figure in that clubhouse.
Great glove at first base. They'll miss that. But the pop from Josh Naylor is there, I'm telling you.
So the Arizona Diamondbacks loaded for bear, but they're not alone. Obviously, we already talked about the Dodgers. We haven't talked about the Padres yet. Can we talk about the San Francisco Giants before we go to break? Buster Posey, leading that front office, brings in Willie Adames on a $182 million deal to be his shortstop. Tyler Fitzgerald moves over to second. And Justin Verlander gets a 1-year deal to pitch in San Francisco. Does this change the way you view the Giants?
Yes, because I'm going to use that word you used for Buster, leadership, with Verlander and Willie Adames. Adames plays every day, loves to play, always a smile on his face. He's a teammate's favorite teammate all the time wherever he goes. That's going to be huge for the Giants. And Verlander, who works harder than Justin Verlander. There's a lot more left in that tank as long as he's healthy. I love those. Buster Posey's getting the right guys in there in San Francisco.
Well, Buster Posey remembers when he played in San Francisco. Their lineup wasn't murderer's row. They weren't setting records by scoring runs. They were built on great starting pitching. And when you look what he has right now, Logan Webb, Robbie Ray, Justin Verlander, Jordan Hicks, there's a chance he could be replicating the magic of those Bochy years.
And he knows that's the way you build a winning team in that ballpark, right? It's hard to build a purely offensive first team out there in San Francisco. He's got the right pieces there. And the innings they'll get from their starting pitching, I think, sets them apart from a lot of teams.
Okay, so we know the Dodgers are the favorite in the West. Who's the second best team in the West, in your opinion? Diamondbacks, Padres, Giants, who you going with?
It's a flip of a coin, but I'll go Arizona right now on paper.
Really?
I'm going Arizona, yeah.
See, I'm going to go San Diego Padres. And we haven't even talked about them yet. We have so many storylines to dive into on this special edition of MLB Tonight. We're going to flip leagues. The American League has so much interest. The Yankees, are they better than they were a year ago with Juan Soto? Hey, ladies and gentlemen, baseball is back. Day 1 of spring training. All the platforms are red hot right now. Get on your phone, have fun on Insta, X, TikTok, and don't change the channel. More MLB Tonight, live, back after this. I think the happiest human in the state of Arizona is joining us live right now on MLB Tonight. Blake Snell of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Blake, good to see you. How you feeling? When you woke up this morning, did it feel like a holiday to you?
Yeah, it felt pretty close to Christmas. Just a little warmer, that's it.
I bet. You know, it's funny because when we break the official news that you signed with the Dodgers and the official press conference where you put on the jersey, today, first day of spring training, that kind of makes it really super official, right?
Yeah, putting the jersey on for the first time, that was, to me, that was amazing. I've been waiting to do that for a while. So to throw a bullpen in uniform, you see Kershaw, that's crazy to me. Yeah, that's like the coolest thing I think I've done in my career is pitching in front of him. So I can't wait to see, just how the season goes.
Throughout your career, I'm wondering if every time you step on a big league mound, you just close your eyes and pretend it's Chavez Ravine in Dodger Stadium. Because some of your greatest performances of your career, and you've had a great career so far, have taken place in that ballpark on that mound. You've had the best career numbers in that stadium of any ballpark, an ERA under 2.2, a ton of strikeouts. What is it? Because think about it. You're playing against great lineups every time you go in to Dodger Stadium. Yeah. What brought out the best in you every time you went into Dodger Stadium, Blake?
Yeah, playing the best. When you play against the best teams, it's like you got to see how good you truly are. And for me, playing that lineup, it always excited me. I was always like, man, I get to face the Dodgers today, and I get to show them how great I am. That was always my mindset going into it. So, yeah, I'm not surprised by the numbers because I know how excited I get to pitch in those games. But no, just keep it going, keep getting better, and can't wait to be the home team there.
Hey, Blake, let's talk about workload because you've got plenty of help in the rotation around you, probably looking at a six-man rotation there. What has Dave Roberts, the staff there, talked to you about, if they have already, on the kind of workload you might look forward to in 2025?
That's a lot of pitchers. A lot of talented pitchers, to say the least. We've been just talking. We haven't really got to that point yet, but it's more, how do I feel? We don't want to get going. We're going to have more conversations today now that I threw another pen. But in the next couple of weeks, I think I'll have a better idea. Right now, it's just keep developing, keep getting better, and start syncing everything together.
Has Dave Roberts or Mookie Betts or any of the guys that are from that 2020 World Series team, have they mentioned anything to you about that game? Has anyone mentioned it?
I mean, people talk about it, but I literally just push it away. I'm like, man, it's 2025. I'm wearing this now. We're good.
Yeah, I know. And I hear that you just want to move on, and you're a Dodger now, and you're in the perfect organization for you. I went to break saying that you're my pick to win the Cy Young. And, I mean, is it in your mind what a third Cy Young would mean to your career?
Yeah. I have a lot of goals that I want to chase. But I don't, we'll see what happens. I'm more like focused on my goals right now and to get ready. And then when the season starts, that's when I'm like, with how I feel, what do I believe I can accomplish right now this year? And then that's when I go attack those goals.
By the way, I still remember that smile on Mookie Betts' face when you were walking off.
Me too.
Bring that up to him.
I remember it too.
Hey, Blake, I want to ask you about what your goal is in terms of your work in spring training. By the time between now and opening day, what are the kind of things you want to work on or accomplish in these next 5-6 weeks?
Yeah, more. I want the left-on-left changeup. I've been working on that the last 4 years in spring. I finally threw it in a game last year at the very end of the season. So I want to try that more. And I think ultimately just commanding the zone. I think every year you're going to want to dominate that, be better, find more confidence and consistency in doing that. Then when you see hitters, being able to do that as well. So as long as I can be in the zone as much as possible this spring, for me, that would be a successful spring. With a lot of, if you're in the zone, it gives you a lot of opportunities to really see how good you are right now.
I wonder if since you guys have 27 starting pitchers that are all really good, is there is there a competition in spring to get the nod, to get the ball for that home opener, which will really kind of feel like, hey, the champs are back at Dodger Stadium?
Yeah, I think everyone wants that game. So, I mean, I'm gunning for it for sure. So, but I know everyone's going to want it. So we'll see how spring goes, see how everyone feels, see how Japan plays out, and then kind of go from there.
I love it. And just so you know, I don't tell every pitcher that joins us on the show that they're my pick to win the Cy Young. I don't tell every one of them that. It's just you. You're my pick, Blake Snell. I believe in you.
I appreciate the belief. It's always been that too. So
well, you're also really nasty on the mound, so it's not like a stretch. You've already won 2 of them. But hey, have a great year. Happy Baseball is Back Day, and we'll talk soon. Okay, Blake?
It's a great day. Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Good seeing you guys.
All right, good to see you. The great Blake Snell with us on MLB.
ドジャースの2024年シーズンはまさに夢のようなオールスターチームが誕生した瞬間からファンの期待を一身に背負い圧倒的なパフォーマンスで駆け抜けてきました大谷翔平、ムーキー、ベッツ、フレディ、フリーマン、これほどのスター選手が一堂に会しチームとして戦う姿はまさに野球ファンにとっての最高のエンターテイメントでした。シーズンを通してドジャースはまさに勝つべくして勝つチームでした。オフェンスでは大谷翔平が豪快なホームランを放ち、ベッツが驚異的な守備とバットコントロールを披露し、フリーマンが頼れるバッティングでチームを支える。そしてピッチング陣には新たに加わった強力な先発投手たちが圧巻の投球を見せ、ブルペンも安定感抜群。まさにどこから見ても隙のない超完成型のドジャース。そして何よりも印象的だったのは選手たちが見せる団結力と情熱です。ただのスーパースターの寄せ集めではなく、お互いを信じ合い支え合いチームとして戦い抜く姿が本当に素晴らしかった。毎試合ベンチでは笑顔があふれ、ビッグプレーのたびに選手たちが肩を組み大歓声を上げる。その光景こそがドジャースが最強のチームである理由ではないでしょうか。特に NL 西地区優勝を決めた試合のあの瞬間、9回裏最後のアウトを取った瞬間、選手もファンも一体となって歓喜の渦に包まれました。スタジアムの青い海が大きく波打ち、選手たちは抱き合い涙を流しながら勝利の喜びを分かち合いました。まるで映画のワンシーンのような最高の瞬間でしたね。しかしこれはまだ終わりではありません。ここからはワールドシリーズ制覇というさらなる夢に向かって突き進むのみ。ドジャースがどんなドラマを見せてくれるのか、これからも目が離せません。皆さんもこの歴史的シーズンの証人となりませんか。これからもドジャースの戦いを一緒に応援していきましょう。動画を楽しんでいただけたらぜひいいねとチャンネル登録をお願いします。コメントで皆さんの熱い応援メッセージもお待ちしています。さあ次の試合もドジャースと共に